Man, it's going to take a lot of love to keep going with these videos, I'll tell you.
So keep on, okay, start over again with the dopamine.
Yeah. People, hey, the app is not running properly. Everything else is, but I'm not hitting the right button. Anyways, it's supposed to be fun. Keep it light, keep it real. And this is real and raw. Anyways, what I was talking about, some people need to hit the wall to make the correction on life events, and get a directional change in their life, and others don't. And, it's due to basically addictive personalities or deeply entrenched thinking. And I was suggesting, and I want you to expand on this, but, the effects of dopamine in your system and adrenaline, and dopamine is that risk reward fight or flight center that's in the amygdala, deep in the hypothalamus, right? And adrenaline is the thing that we seek or use to get us there. And that can take us in nasty directions, right? That can take us in, destructive ones with a lot of zeal, like with an athletic level of
Yes.
competency for destruction, or it can be channeled positively. And that's how our neural networks use dopamine to communicate the cells between each other, right? It's
Yes.
the neurochemicals that are used that cells use to talk to each other. And once those things are formed deeply in our psyche, and they start from a young age. They start at a very young age, right? Basically from day one, once we're basically sentient, they get entrenched. And if there's bad experiences and everything else, they manifest. And we all kind of know that. But it takes a reprogramming of those neural networks. It takes practice. We have to work at those types of things. So, a lot of people just talk about the personality types or the neural networks, or is it chemical? Is it just purely psychological? So I've rambled on enough about that. What do you think about that, Vince? Cut in on that?
I do believe that dopamine is a motivator, but not the only thing, right? Yes, it impacts the pleasure and how you're feeling around things. If something positive happens, you want more of that. You work out, you get that pump, you want more of it, you feel better.
Right.
Sugar, same thing as well. I don't believe it's the be all and end all, but it is, I would have to say it's a motivator, and I'll leave it at that. With regard to, I like what you said regarding the reprogramming of your life. The majority of people are more than happy to run on autopilot. That's what I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
So they brush their teeth a certain time in the day, they take a bath or shower a certain time in the day, get to work or watch movies and everything else. But as far as them really taking the time to, and I say really, really take the time to reprogram their nervous system, their whole entire body. Most people, the fact of the matter is, they don't want to put in the effort. I see that over and over and over and over, because for them, it's either they think it's too much work, or, something, I'm okay right now. I don't need it right now. And the fact of the matter is, will the reprogramming really benefit me in the long run? So they're very good. People in general are very good at lack of accountability to go the extra level and to try to reprogram themselves. And I know it may seem harsh, but the fact of the matter is, I believe most people in this world lack accountability. They do. They'd rather take the easy way out, right? I'm not saying you have to be an Olympian, train 12, 14, 16 hours a day. But, meditating 20 minutes a day, people say, well, I'm too busy. Really? You're too busy? Elon Musk is running a $1 trillion organization, or whatever it is, and with so many employees, and you're too busy? I think it's the ability to prioritize, the ability to really understand that their health matters, the ability to seek rewards instantaneously, gratification instantaneously. And until the individual realizes that they have to make the time and effort, take the time and effort to do what needs to be done to, and I'm, for lack of a better word, reprogram themselves to live the life they deserve. They'll still get the same results, like Einstein says, right? That quote, the famous quote.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. He, we're, I don't know if we're all built as Lambos or Ferraris or whatever metaphoric vehicle, I'm using. Maybe a Bugatti Veyron like you, Vince. I'm more of a Corvette, I think.
I know you like Corvettes.
I do. But the fact of the matter is, we don't tune them when we're talking about our body.
Yes.
And there's no such thing as a car that'll run forever without maintenance. And that's pretty cliche-ish. But when you think about it, they deserve it. We wouldn't take an inanimate object and invest a lot in it, usually, unless we're really maligned, and let it go. It needs some tending, depending how hard you run it, too. The other thing, when you look at the metaphor in our life, the harder you run, the more maintenance it needs.
Yes.
And the more breakdown, so you need to repair parts too, or replace parts, so to speak,
Yes.
right? But we don't measure ourselves in that context because the car just got to run, and we expect that of ourselves. The other thing is, no time. There may be no time. I'll agree with, maybe dissent with you a tad, and I know the context in which you're saying it, but people have jam-packed lives, but they've allowed claims to be put on their lives. There's some are self-imposed, but a number of them are imposed by others. And the only way you're going to gain some time, perhaps, is just to cut other things out, and there will be blood. There'll be blood, but is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the blood worth that letting?
Yes.
Of what you're losing? So expansion comes from elimination in many cases before you expand. Don't add, eliminate. And perhaps just in the elimination, there's a lot of freedom, and buy back some time. And, you may hurt some others. You don't want to, but you need to express that. And they need to grant you the quarter, the space. If they don't, then, hey, I got to take my car in for a tune-up.
Yes. I like what you said about the car and the car metaphor. A lot of times what I see is that the people have the gas and the right kind of gas. They simply don't want to take the time to put it in their tank.
Right.
Or the gas is there and they simply, the engine, the wiring of the vehicle is not where it needs to be. And as a result, what happens is, because not everything is running when you should, when you turn the car on, you're still stuck.
That's right. Yep.
It's not easy, David. I've said some strong things about most people not being accountable for their own health. I'm just sharing my opinion. And this is based on what I've seen. But the fact of the matter is, if you're a sugar person and you have 10 pieces of candy, can you stop at one? Right?
Right.
I know that if I am very, very religious. I try to be I try to respond rather than react. But I also know that I cannot have a beer in my fridge. I know that my wife buys certain types of chips, salt and vinegar. Those are my favorite. Look, my mouth's watering because if I have one, half a freaking bag is gone, if not the whole entire bag.
Trigger.
So I'm not saying I'm not perfect. We're not perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. But for the things that matter, my sobriety, I have reprioritized everything so that all the meaningful things are meaningful to me. So if today's my last day, I've done everything humanly possible to be a good human being, the best version of me moving forward. And let's face it, David, even if we do that, we all have ups and downs. I do not know one human being Maybe you do, but I do not know one human being, homeless, executive, everything else in between, billionaire, penniless, whatever, that doesn't have ups and downs. It's how you manage them, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's good, man. That's good. Want to go down this road a little bit about carve it up a little more, buddy, on the different forms of addictive, I guess we're on that track, addictive personalities. And let me just leave it open to that. Run with that. I'm throwing out a pass, a Hail Mary to you.
Oh boy.
Tough one, eh?
That's an extremely difficult one, because you're asking me, based on that question, to segment it like 10 different levels. You could break it down to 10 different levels. But at the core, if we use a simple definition, an addict is someone that continues to do what they have always done to get a specific reward, whether it's a cocaine high or whatever the case may be, right? Marijuana high, what have you, knowing full well that they're going to be suffering, there's going to be some suffering along the way. Whether you are into cocaine, fentanyl, shopping, addiction with your phone, the fact of the matter, shopping for CDs, listening to music 24/7. The fact of the matter is people going on Netflix and binging on the various series is very easy. I've done it myself, right?
Yep. Yep.
One could be considered an addict. You know, it doesn't have to be just alcohol. It's also different levels, but you really want to break it down. You can do it. Are you an addict if you watch 1 hour TV from 6 to 7 every single day, and don't stop? Based on if I go into detail regarding the definition, yes, you are, right? Because if someone says to you, listen, let's go for a coffee, but from 6 to 7 that day, you're supposed to, you want to go on Netflix to watch a movie, you say no, and you repeatedly say no, that means you can't get away from it. So by definition, you're an addict in that regard. Maybe not an addict, let's say, as someone that, to go to extreme, that does cocaine and heroin every single day to the point of passing out, right? Again, that's the level side. We could talk about that ad nauseum, but you're still an addict. You know, if someone says, David, there's Netflix tonight, I know from 6 to 7, you typically watch a movie, let's go for a coffee, and you say no over and over, you're an addict, man. You can't get away from it.
The reference to the Netflix type of thing or the shopping, it's not as socially destructive initially, and perhaps in the final analysis usually isn't as the obvious ones that lead to destruction of your lives and those around you. Although the shopping and other addictions still can be destructive because people will end relationships over things of that nature. And because if it's acute enough, so it is so destructive in the ecosystem of a family or extended family. And it's not only no joke, it does exist. It's more widespread than we think. But when somebody's lying around as either a super happy drunk or an angry drunk or drug user, well, there's usually collateral damage, physical and otherwise. So it's easy to pinpoint that and say you're the addict, right? Mm-hmm. And the problem, and yeah, but there's a lot more subtle ones that are the undoing of our society, families, undermining of families rather, and things like that, and personal relationships due to those other addictive personalities that are there. And those are the ones that I guess I'm most interested in when I say that. It's not that I don't have empathy for the other ones, but I think those are the silent killers of a vibrant society, and individual growth can be stunted by, somebody that's a TV addict, because the time you put into that multiplied by a skill set and determination, work that equation out financially,
Mm-hmm.
you could totally transform your life without building SpaceX. But,
Yes.
but you could build some neat decks on the back of homes and make a little business out of it, just to use a silly metaphor.
Sure.
With concentrated effort in a specific time, right?
Yes.
So again, it's about elimination, rather than, and growing rather than trying to just cram more into your life. I'm all about that. But the addictive personality, it takes a neural network reprogramming with that, because the dopamine baselines are so strongly entrenched in those situations.
Yes.
Individuals that are really in deep. And again, some are more hidden and they're in as deep as the alcoholic, just not as apparent.
Mm-hmm.
They can pull it off. They can mask it. They can put the veil up, right? Got that. But it's about them self-actualizing and being all that they could be, and they don't know how to break away from that, right? And it's hard to reach out for help with certain type of personality types too, right?
Yes.
Men aren't good with that in general. That's a generalization, but they're worse at it as a rule than women. There's no question about it. And that's a whole other topic. Maybe we'll go down that road some other time. That'd be interesting to talk about why the difference is, right? But yeah. So what else, man? Why don't you throw something on the table here, buddy? Something different. We don't have to snap it right in on the table right now. I mean, I'm putting you on the spot again, but
it's just one of the things that's always been on my mind. Like, for example, the last 2-3 days, I haven't been as serene as I would like to be. Right?
Hey, can I jump in and interrupt you on that one though?
Yeah.
No dramatic effect. When I called you this morning to rescue me out of Zoom jail, I thought you were the Messiah, man. Like, you were so peaceful. I was actually worried. Are you going to be able to pull off a discussion with me, man?
It's all good.
No, you probably had a major meltdown and you just went
No. It's the kind of personal. I'll be totally honest. Because the last 3 days in particular,
excuse me,
that's hilarious, David.
Yeah.
For me, my obsession, if I'm not connected to my higher power, in my case, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, God, right?
Yeah.
My default, my autopilot is a conversation that I had with someone. And I can get very addicted to the reaction that I had based on what that person said. And before, that same conversation play over my mind for months and months on end. But just think about it, that wasn't just one conversation, many conversations. It just so happened for a couple of days. For one person, it just stuck in my head. It would constantly come back. And if my biggest goal in life is not wealth, it's not this, it's not that, it's peace of mind, serenity, and being the best husband, father, that I could be, a grandfather, and giving back to humanity the best way that I could before I closed my eyes. I'm not following my truth, right? And my truth is not necessarily your truth, David, or the truth of the other people that are watching this. But the fact of the matter is, even though I have many years of experience and I have many more tools than most individuals, I'm still a work in progress, right? And it takes consistent effort to continually do what needs to be done in order to find that peace. My question to you is, are you more at peace most times, or do you typically free range as far as you're thinking? Just, it is what it is, and just keep on going. And there's those mice inside going on that roller coaster.
No, no, I'm the latter. Like the
Yeah.
wheels are turning,
No, I appreciate your honesty.
fire's burning.
Yeah.
I have some of the tools that you're referring to bring it together quickly, but that's not the panacea. The root, the root piece is to walk in absolute, um, absolute, not control, but knowing that all is well at all times, despite what's happening in front of you.
Exactly.
And what happens in front of you and what you might do at that moment, even if you're a little more reactive, you're not your reaction. You are if you're a hot mess. I'm not a hot mess, but if you are your reaction. That's who you are. But the fact of the matter is when we slip or whatever, um, we shift gear from fourth to first and there's a jar, we didn't go down to third and second, so to speak, metaphorically speaking. Um, if we don't do that, that doesn't define us. But if you're living like that, reactive to everything, and the wheels are always turning, there's some root issues that need to be addressed, clearly.
I agree. I agree. If I may share one technique that I use to find my peace, just imagine, I'd like to share this with you and the entire audience. Just imagine there's a little miniature chair inside your brain, inside my brain, inside your brain. And now David Irwin is sitting inside, a little miniature David Irwin is inside your little brain. Not little brain, inside your
You're
brain.
right.
No.
He's right.
Massive brain.
Oh, sure.
So a little David Irwin is sitting on top of that chair, and I am sitting, little miniature version is sitting inside my little brain, so to speak. And essentially, my granddaughter's here.
Beautiful.
1 second. I'm sorry.
Dramatic interruption. Perfect.
I want you go, like.
I'll see you after, okay?
I thought that I would say like it.
Yes, you look beautiful, sweetheart. So, as I was saying.
Isn't that how we have to be childlike, in a way?
Oh, you're 100% correct.
Innocent as children, like childlike, not in all our behaviors, but in terms of the freedom within ourselves. She has absolute freedom, right? She
does. And we just have all these constraints. And with regard to what I was saying, just imagine you're sitting down in that chair in your brain. If you have the ability to sit in that chair in your brain and just observe your thoughts, emotions, and feelings without getting attached, the progress that you make is just insurmountable. It's just immense. Now, if you're sitting in that chair and you get up every night and you go for a walk, guess what? You're not connected. You're connected to the busyness of life. You're connected to your thoughts, emotions, and feelings. But every time you sit down, that's your place of tranquility, your throne, so to speak, where you can be a king, not the king, but a king.
That's right. Captain of our soul.
Yeah, captain of our soul. Yes. See, from the
sure. That's the only real estate we really own. You can have title to other land. There's people that own things.
Own
things. But, we don't have permanent title to it because we pass. So, the real estate that we truly own, and you can lose all the rest of it, right? But
absolutely.
if you drive your stake into your soul, so to speak, and make claim to that, nothing can take that away. Nothing can take the title away from you, period.
Absolutely. And in order to do that, you really need to work on your ego, because
there's where we're going right there. That's our next topic. I'm jumping in. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let you, but that ego piece, man.
Listen, we all wear masks, right? You all wear masks, if you're working as a money manager someplace, the money can define you in front of other people. If you're working as a real estate agent and that's your passion, you believe it's all about real estate. Even if you're someone that actually works for a nonprofit organization, does well in the community, you have that mask of I'm the guy or I'm the lady that's helping this community and so forth. But there's ego associated with it, right? Even with doing the right thing. I'm not saying that if someone's a real estate or being a money manager or engineer or whatever, everyone's doing their very best. But the thing is that attachment and the lack of humility, because the ego is so strong, what happens is that you're not being your authentic and real self. And if you're not being your authentic and real self, as you called me, quote unquote, the Messiah because I was calm because of the Zoom jail we were experiencing, you'll never be that quote unquote Messiah. Have that seat of the soul, that peace of mind until you're able to manage your ego, because your ego is just telling you all the time, yeah, you know something, they said this, they really meant to piss you off, or yeah. And it's like you're always constantly, just imagine having two people, for lack of better words, an angel and a devil on both shoulders. And let's say that the angel is the positive ego that everyone has, and that you're doing the right thing and be the best version of yourself, and you're calm and cool when you're with that angelic ego, so to speak. Whereas when you're in that, when the devil ego comes to the forefront, what happens is that all the huge mess of thoughts, emotions, and feelings happen in your head, and there's a quagmire of chaos that you constantly because of the rumination takes place.
Yes.
And how you feel things in your body, the emotions, the roller coaster of emotions and so forth, that you're not able to be tranquil at all, right? So you always have a choice. You could be at that seat, sit at that seat in your brain, so to speak, and have that angelic mentality where fostered in humility, right? Humility that's fostered, I should say, or just choose chaos. And some people choose chaos.
Oh yeah, it's a drug.
They're not able to get out of it. It's a drug.
Narcotic.
Yeah.
So is depression, the other end. But they're more closely aligned than one would think. Hey, listen, I want to chime in on something. Agree 100%. So this is an additive, not a but. So not to mistake that humility for, firstly, the obvious word weakness, but something more important than frame. And I'm talking from a man's perspective. A man that walks with total control over his soul and is a grinder with skills, that has had the big talk with himself in life, is a dangerous human being. Now, understand what I mean by dangerous, not violent, but dangerous and very effective and not to be messed with. And there's an element, and Christ had that personality, obviously.
He was a warrior.
The manger scene concept of Christ only, if one believes, he's well out of the manger, man. He's a lion of the tribe of Judah. So,
Yes.
I'd like to talk about, listen to this. This is totally unscripted, obviously, but the crucifixion sometime, the physical, afflictions that he suffered on that are profound, that no man could have ever endured it.
Oh.
So, and Vince, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Just, sorry, can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah, eh? Hold on a second. My screen went away and another technical glitch trying to throw me off my grace, man. It's not working. See how calm I am? Everybody in the audience saw that, or you're going to hear it. But, my Zoom, it disappeared on me. So the enemy coming against me. Anyways, there's a masculine frame to that calm side that needs to be part of the ingredient mix and never to be
absolutely
confused. Yeah.
We're not, just because you're humble doesn't mean you're weak.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Being like Christ and having that Christ consciousness, just because you're more on the quiet, more reserved side, more peaceful, you can still voice your opinion, right? And be strong in that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So humility is not weakness. And you touched on something quite powerful, because it takes a tremendous amount of effort and I mean that, to persevere and to constantly work on yourself, that you have to bear your own cross. What I mean by that is, in the same way that Christ ended up bearing his cross, we will have ups and downs in our life. And as we're working through this, we will go down, we will to places where some people are close to doing some very hard things on themselves, self-harm, let's go that way, just that way. And from a progressive wellness standpoint, it's so important to really bear your cross. The thing is, as you continually work on yourself and build that muscle, the beautiful thing is that you tend to, as you're bearing your cross and you're living your life, the ups and downs, the oscillations are not as great as they once were, right?
Yeah. The amplitude, I think it is, right? The standard deviation.
Yeah.
Great off the mean. It starts to temper more.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the neural network resetting, the dopamine reset, the baseline isn't so high. And,
you know exactly what I mean. Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you know oneself and honest with them, you get it. So we're birds of a feather a little bit. No question about it. Hey, listen, we got, everybody, we got about 7 minutes left. We're going to chew up, I don't know, maybe most of that. We'll see. So where are we going next? What's the next piece here? Cause I was going to talk about the ego. We were going to talk about that last time, but,
I think we should work on, and this could be edited out, but we should work on, ending it now.
Okay, cool. You got to run anyways. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I could do another one afterwards or another day or whatnot, but,
we'll pick it up again. We're going to, I've said to many of my guests, in the past, that, I'd like to have them back, and I really mean that. And, no question, given the fact I've got a longer and tighter relationship, with
for sure.
than most, it's interesting because, I don't know if 3 people watch it and, they're touched. That's great if 3,300 someday, but I know you and I are.
Yeah, that's it. It's true. It's the thing and you know what you said probably the most powerful thing in this podcast.
Hey, Vince, you keep dressing me in borrowed robes, brother.
No, I'm telling you, you said the most powerful thing. The word connection. Do you know what the opposite of addiction is?
Well, is addiction disconnection? You're disconnected?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just guessing at it. Go ahead.
No, it's the opposite of addiction is connection. It's about a relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
A relationship with others.
I was off. That's good.
No, so it's something where you think about it, right? When you're doing that, when you're trying to find out who you are, when you want to really better understand yourself, when you want to pass certain hurdles, how many people use, forget about it, I'll just have a couple of beers and talk to my buddies, or I'll have a couple of glasses of wine, or even ladies with a beer and whatnot, and it's all good. I'll shoot up some heroin or what have you, or I'll shop it off, and I'll put up a couple of movies and I'll feel better, right? But the fact of the matter is that's the time to rewire yourself and connect with yourself and connect with others. I mean, really connect, not over beer and this and that, just have that conversation so that you can go back to the healthier version of yourself before the addiction, if we're using addiction from an addiction standpoint. But in life in general, the pandemic, I don't like to use the pandemic that often, but the fact of the matter is people said, oh, the pandemic was terrible, this and that, and blah, 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 blah. And how did it impact you? I said, it didn't. I lost my job. Had a few other things happen to me.
Not laughing. It didn't, you said?
It didn't. Okay. At all. You know why? I'll tell
you were grounded. You were grounded.
I knew
Yeah,
I
I got
knew.
you.
I
That's
knew.
cool.
I've gone through things that were much, much worse. To me, please understand, I'm not taking away anything from the pandemic. I'm not taking, people passed away. It took the world by storm. I get that. I'm not minimizing that. But for me personally, it impacted me at zero. Because you think that the pandemic is going to be the last thing that's going to happen in my life? No. There are going to be other things and other things and other things and other things.
Yeah,
It's how I respond to these things.
exactly, man.
You know,
Hey,
I mean, yeah.
oh, sorry. Yeah, we're gonna get cut off here, and I want to land it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna set the table for the next one with you. We're gonna have you
Yeah.
back, and I
Yeah.
want to thank everybody for joining in today. Give a hand clap to Vince for sure on this one, man.
Much love. Much
Yeah,
love.
much love. Yeah. All solid on that. And hey, everybody, if you can, subscribe if you feel like it. We're gonna have a lot of great hosts on, and remember, be solid and be after you.